Hi, I'm Alan Wallach, the author of the Kieran Adventure series for middle grade readers, ages from about 10 to 14. I'm going to read an excerpt for you from book 4 in the series called Kieran and the Robots. It's about a parallel universe inhabited only by robots, since humans have become extinct. But before I do, I want to give you a little background. I wrote these books for my grandson who refused to read a book. They were successful beyond anything my son and I could have imagined. My other grandchildren and their friends have all read the series and are asking for more. The books are not available in stores, primarily because booksellers are reluctant to put books on their limited shelves if they aren't heavily advertised. They are readily available on Amazon in digital form for Kindle or in paperback. I encourage you to go to the link below, which will take you directly to the place at Amazon where you can view and buy any or all of the 4 books in the series. And now, Kieran and the Robots. Saturday afternoon, when Kieran and Rajilad got together as they had planned, trying to use the translator to create the written dictionary, something caught Kieran's eye. He noticed scratches on the floor that were never there before, as if someone was moving furniture in the workshop. But there was no furniture to move in the workshop. "Hey, Raj, what do you think that is?" He pointed to the scratches. Rajilad looked at them and frowned. She stooped down to look more carefully, ran her fingers over them. "Looks like something heavy definitely made the scratches on the concrete floor, but I can't imagine what it could be." Suddenly, a window appeared on the left side of the wall. It had never been there before. Rajilad and Kieran were puzzled and looked at each other. "What's going on?" Kieran asked Rajilad. "I don't know, but I can tell you this. If it is a wormhole, it's not coming from either the Agatans or the Pimplamum universe." They stood there watching it. Nothing was happening. Then, suddenly, a huge metal thing that looked like a robot stepped through the window. Almost 7 feet tall, it was humanoid in that it was walking. It had hands, but one of them was some kind of a tool, like a drill. On the head, there were 3 eyes in a triangle. It had what looked like a mouth, but no nose. The mouth looked more like a speaker. As it stood there, 2 of the eyes were looking at them. The 3rd eye, in the middle of what we would consider his forehead, looked around. Kieran looked down at its feet to see if it made the scratches on the floor. The feet had some structure under them. Kieran had no idea what they were, but they definitely could have made the scratches. It made a frightening appearance, but for some reason, neither Kieran nor Rajilad were afraid. They were stunned and agape at the giant, but not afraid. It spoke in a sort of babble to them. Rajilad answered it. She tried English first, then our native tongue, and finally Vigandandic. It babbled again. It looked around the workshop and continued to babble. Rajilad answered again. "We don't understand," she pointed to herself. "Rajilad," she said twice. Then she pointed to Kieran and said, "Kieran," and added, "Who are you?" The being pointed with its right fist to himself and said what sounded like, "Martinit Denden." Kieran said, "Where do you come from?" It did not answer. "Kieran," Rajilad suddenly said, "get the picture book dictionary in English. that your father used. You remember when he was working on the translator? Great idea, you're right. He opened one of the doors in the cabinet and after a few seconds of browsing, pulled out the dictionary. He walked over to the being and opened it in front of him. "This is what we need for your language," he said. The robot looked at the pictures. Then he abruptly turned and darted, clanking through the window, and it closed after him. "I guess that's what made the scratches. I wonder if he realized why we gave him the dictionary," Rajilad said as she turned back to Kieran. "Wait till I tell Dad. I wonder what his reaction will be." "You should have taken a picture," Rajilad said. "I think that from now on you should keep a camera in the workshop. People are going to find it difficult to believe these things. And I think we have only begun to see things, only scratched the surface, as you say in English." "On the floor, you mean," he said, laughing. "I'll get the camera." He ran up the stairs and returned in a couple of minutes with the camera in his hand, ready to go. He also was smart enough to bring a recording device. He knew from experience that whatever pictures the robot brought back, he wouldn't be able to pronounce the characters and symbols. Kieran sat down on the huge stool with the camera ready and waited, looking at the place where the window appeared. A half hour went by and nothing happened. Rajilad was not one to waste time. She was back at working on her calculations and writing things feverishly. "Kieran, you should make a copy of the sound discs that you are working on, the English ones. Do you have an extra disc player?" We could give it to the robot when he comes back with the picture dictionary. Maybe he's smart enough to use it. It certainly can't hurt. Just then the window appeared again, and the robot clunked through. He was so heavy it was almost like a crash. He had a device in his hand. Rajilad backed off, a little frightened that it might be a weapon. The robot put the device on the table and flipped the switch. A picture appeared on a small screen on the device, and simultaneously a word was spoken. Then a second picture appeared, and another word was spoken. "Wow," Kieran said. "We should make one of those." He put his own disc player on the table and showed Martin how it worked and how it corresponded to the picture book. The robot watched carefully. Kieran took out his camera and snapped the picture. Then, suddenly, the robot took Kieran's disc player and, without a word, hurried back through the window, and it closed. He had left the device on the table. Kieran looked at Rajilad. Rajilad shrugged her shoulders. "It seems like a fair trade to me. I wonder what he's up to. He might have something in mind," Kieran said. "I suppose he left his device intentionally, don't you think?" "That's my guess, but we have to get on with our work. No idea when he's coming back." That's chapter 2. If you want to read more, you can. You can join Kieran, Rajilad, and their group of travelers help Marty and Willie, the robots, find out why their universe has no humans by Googling Kieran Adventure Series or going to the link below. Enjoy.